So buyers are back, but where is the inventory? That is a question that I keep getting from buyers. It'll be interesting to see as things have been upticking from an inventory standpoint, but still not quite enough to meet the demand of buyers out there. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor in the Greater Toronto Area. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think of the inventory that's currently out there if you have been looking. And if you ever wanted to book in a call with me, click on that first link in the description down below whenever you're ready. So Royal LePage, my parent company, just came out with their home price forecast for 2023. And this is actually a revised home price forecast. They've taken the data from the first quarter of 2023 and revised their initial predictions, which I did speak about back in a previous video. But let's jump into the new revision and where they think prices will be going for the later part of 2023. That answer may surprise you. Now, this is a Canadian article, but it will discuss different parts of the country, including the greater regions of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. So the article starts out by saying Canada's real estate market, buyers are back, but where is the inventory? With demand outpacing supply, Royal LePage adjusts the forecast upwards following stronger than expected start to 2023. Here are a few of the first quarter highlights. So the national aggregate home price forecast is to increase 4.5% year over year in Q4 of 2023. Single-digit price gains in first quarter are driven by early return of sideline buyer demand and continued shortage of inventory. The national aggregate home price is up 2.8% quarter over quarter in Q1 of 2023, but down 9.2% over the same period in 2022, which if you've been watching this channel, you know that that was the peak of the market in most markets across Canada. In greater regions of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, post quarterly aggregate price gains of 4.8%, 1.3%, 1.3% respectively in the first quarter, and Royal LePage urges OFC to heed the economic dangers that would accompany new aggressive mortgage restrictions. So here's a chart that compares the 2023 Q1 sales and new listings, and it talks about January, February, and March. So the three areas that are covered are the Greater Montreal area, the Greater Toronto area, and Greater Vancouver. Let's focus on Toronto. January, 3,100 sales. February, just under 4,800 sales. That was a difference of 54%. And March, almost 7,000 sales, about 6,900 sales. But this is where things get interesting. For new listings, in January, just under 7,700 listings. In February, just under 8,400 listings, a difference of 9%. And in March, 11,000, basically 200 listings, a difference of 34%. So we're seeing more listings come up in March, but much more sales. So the absorption is actually coming in relatively quick. Whereas if you see in January, 3,100 sales, almost 8,000 listings. And as we go down in the article, it talks about public policy and not the right time to tighten restrictions. And this has to do with Canada's mortgage stress test, which proposed by the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, OFC. They're looking to impose even more restrictive access to mortgage financing in an effort to mitigate risk for major banks against potential consumer default. Stress test has proven to be an effective tool to ensure Canadians can meet their obligations to a lender in the event that interest rates increase as they have this past year. That's by Phil Soper, the president of Royal LePage. In another video, I did speak about the amendments to the new foreign buyer ban that started in January, and they made some changes at the end of March. This is interesting though, the BC home buyer rescission period, and I have spoken about this before, is that there is a new cooling off period that allows buyers to rescind an offer within 3 business days of an agreement being signed, but it has not proven to be useful. Few BC buyers are exercising their right to use the cooling off period the way it was intended. This allows them an out after a rash decision to purchase a property. But unfortunately, they're seeing people blatantly abusing the program by making offers on multiple homes as they shop around, locking up scant housing inventory as if clothing in a retail store. The legislation is harmful, not helpful, and should be amended or scrapped. The Bank of Canada has also been holding its rate at 4.5%. It's been the same since the end of January, on January 25th, which actually since that announcement's been happening, we've been seeing prices increase as it's been giving buyer confidence. And this was a signal that so many Canadians were waiting for. Bank of Canada rate hold was the green light that stability is returning to the market and has had a swift and significant impact on buyer demand. So here's a forecast. Royal LePage is forecasting that the aggregate price of a home in Canada will increase 4.5% in the fourth quarter of 2023 compared to the same quarter last year. Now, just to jump in there, we've actually seen that increase already happen in the city of Toronto. Prices are up 5 to 6% since January. So we're actually up from October, November, and December already by more than the 4.5% here in the city of Toronto. So here's a Royal LePage 2023 market survey forecast, and we'll stick again to the Greater Toronto area. So the Q4 2022 aggregate home price, so actual dollar values for the Greater Toronto area was $1,068,500. Q4 2023, the price forecast $1,148,638, which is a Q4 2023 year-over-year forecast increase of 7.5% for the city of Toronto. And interesting, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And I know it is the spring market, so things have been heating up, including the weather here in Toronto, which means that every patio in the city has been rammed and every cafe has people in it. It's been an absolute change of pace since we increased about 15 degrees outside, which has also been reflective in the Toronto real estate market. We've seen more and more buyers come to the table and more buyers make offers on properties. That being said, there has not been a ton of properties that have been coming to the market in the areas that need them the most. And I know we've seen a lot more listings in March, but those specific pockets in those great areas have been very active. And we'll be interested to see how things play out as we continue into May and play out that spring market. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. What are your thoughts on the current market? Are you surprised? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.